After I shared my first story last week, I received feedback from you that I should probably discuss the ideas about school shootings and other kinds of gun violence in general. I agree with your advice, since it's a serious topic and is directly related to the safety of ourselves and people everywhere in this country. So I started my research online, and here's what I found. In 2019, the latest data I could possibly acquire, around 40,000 people in the United States are killed or injured by firearms. Different institutions disagree on the last few digits of this number, but they find in common that it is steadily increasing in the past several years. This number means that on average, about 110 people are shot per day, which is 4.6 per hour, or one for every 13 minutes. Among the victims, around 3,800 or 9.6% of them are minors. This number doesn't look pretty, to be honest. They remind us that, again, shooting is a real and ongoing threat to people's life. I didn't, however, want to stop here and just reach my conclusion in vacuum, so I went on to find a set of other data for comparison. In 2019, around 98 people in the United States are killed in traffic accidents per day, roughly the same to gun-related injury and death, while about 110 died of Parkinson's disease, something we would intuitively thought of as relatively rare and has little to do with ourselves. 146 are killed by flu and pneumonia, one of the most common diseases we could possibly find, and 368 by Alzheimer's disease. When we see shootings on the front page, news, and social medias, this equally, if not more lethal incidents are under much less exposure. If this pairs of contrast isn't strong enough for you, in 2020, over 1,900 people in the United States are killed by diseases of heart every day. During the day I write down this article, 2,700 in the United States are killed by COVID-19, despite the fact that most of us has been vaccinated. It seems like that we are much less concerned with this kind of threats, despite the fact they are much effective killers than guns in this country. I need to emphasize here that I never want to undermine the threats of firearms. Rather, if you interpret the data from the opposite direction, it's actually suggesting that we should take our health seriously, and unhealthy habits could harm us more than an armed shooter. What really influenced my mind significantly is a below statistic, which says that over 60% of gun-related injury and death in the United States are caused by suicide. And the vast majority, or around 75% of those who committed suicide, choose to end their life with a bullet. The other 37% are homicides, while only 3% of the cases are accidental. What this data tells us that the firearms are actually a bigger threat to their owners than to people around. So will gun control help with this people? Well, certainly yes, since it could raise the threshold for those who want to hurt themselves or others, whether it is driven by immediate fury or despair, or the quote-unquote evil intention. It leaves people time to calm down and process their decision in mind more reasonably, or at least limit the damage they could possibly do. What we need to do and ask firsthand, however, is what gave rise to such destructive motives that even death cannot deter. Answering this question requires much deeper research on all aspects of the society and goes way beyond the capacity of this short analysis. But it is necessary if we want to save people's lives from the threats of firearms.